Welcome to the Cinematics Podcast.
My name's Casey.
And I'm Connor. And today we're going to be talking about Zodiac. And Zodiac-related things, such as my Zodiac sign.
I don't actually know what a Zodiac is. Explain it to me.
It's like star signs and shit.
Oh.
We're both Aquarius. This is actually a fun fact about Casey and I. We were born on the same day.
We were. So
Yeah.
we are both Tauruses.
That's
not true.
Man, I can't believe you watched an entire movie about Zodiac signs and you didn't pick up on that.
Weirdly enough, no Zodiac signs in this entire movie.
I might have watched the wrong movie.
Shit.
But yeah, Zodiac is a movie made by David Fincher. That's the director. And it is based on the book written by Robert Graysmith, who is played in this movie by not Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal.
I didn't realize it was based on a book.
It's based on a book,
I
yeah.
knew it was obviously based on the murders of the Zodiac Killer,
Well,
but I
yeah.
didn't realize there was a book. Did Jake Gyllenhaal make up the character of Jake Gyllenhaal, make the book, and then that book is now what's based on it?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that's like one of the brilliant things about this movie is that they actually had like a lot of really accurate source material, and I really like that. Like it's a very accurate movie actually. It's actually kind of bewildering how accurate it is because so they show a lot of the Zodiac killings in the movie, like specifically in the first like hour.
The first hour they show, I want to say 3 killings.
Yeah.
They show 3. Just to go over them, there's the first one. It's very literally like maybe first 5 minutes.
It's the opening scene of the movie.
It's the lady. Hold on, I have notes. I can tell you exactly what happens.
Yeah, this is our first time somebody took notes on the podcast,
this
which
is
is
the first
great.
time I've taken notes. I really wanted to make sure I was prepared for this one. So,
and this is a great movie to do it for because
this lady, okay, she's driving in the car with her boyfriend, who she is married. They do make that he does say that later.
Yeah, a little scandalous action.
She wants to go eat, goes to a place that would have food, and then leaves.
And she's like,
I'm
not hungry.
To Lover's Point, and as I put, lady trying to fuck in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then this creepy guy. No. Then these like teenagers and stuff like that throw some like fireworks at her.
What do they say? They were like, "Fuck off and die."
Yeah. I even wrote that. He screams, "Fuck off and die" at them.
Yeah.
Then there's this creepy car who's just kind of sitting there, like looks at him, no lights on, all of that.
And you think from seeing that scene that this creepy car, it could be the Zodiac killer in it. But then it drives away and you're like, oh, it's not.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fake out. But then it comes back.
Yeah, and then he just gets out.
He gets out with the flashlight. They think it's a police officer.
Yeah. He's like, hey, man, you really scared us there.
Mm-hmm.
And he just starts killing them.
And then he just shoots both of them. Shoots them a whole bunch.
Yeah.
He then leaves, goes back to his car, comes back. I would assume probably reloading because he did shoot a lot of bullets. Comes back, then shoots them again.
Yeah.
But just shoots the woman mostly. Mm-hmm. So the man survives.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's great about this movie is like that guy's still alive, and he like all the people like so all of the scenes that you get a lot of information about, like the first killing and the second, they had somebody live, and so that's why you get like super accurate retellings of those scenes because they actually just like he was on the team.
Was that he didn't focus on the men
as
much as he focused on the women.
Yeah.
He clearly had a problem with the women.
Yeah. And so the guy ends up living, and he actually helped them direct that scene. That scene's extremely accurate down to like what they're wearing, how many shots. That the whole scene was entirely accurate to how it happened in real life.
Wow, that's
down
cool.
to what they said to each other.
Even the fuck off and die?
Yeah, that was real.
Wow.
Everything that they said in that scene was directly what they had said, because obviously the guy remembers this, what happened like it was yesterday, because it was probably the most like
traumatic thing that could happen to someone.
Yeah, so that kind of gives me chills just thinking about it. I mean, like, dude, imagine like that happens to you, and then this director's like, yo, you want to help us make a movie about this?
Dumbass. Okay, just to be clear here, we're giving him props. He's a dumbass though. He gets out of the hospital and immediately leaves. Does not help the police in any way until like 20 or 30 years later.
Yeah.
Then he finally helps the police and tells them what he looks like. Then the guy who he says he looks like dies immediately from a heart attack. Not just, the end of the movie, spoil it, but like,
I mean, we spoil everything on here.
To be fair though, this is a real story. I don't know if you can really spoil a real story, but then, so what happens after this? So this is the first time. Then He calls the police on himself. The Zodiac does.
Yeah, he always does.
The police officers come in and they find the people, and then the letter gets sent to the news media.
Also, they save the recording from that phone call, and they line up exactly. It is like, it's a different
really?
voice actor, but he says the exact same things.
Wow.
I know, the movie's extremely accurate.
That's very cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in that, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's extremely accurate. And that was like one of the things that I was thinking about this movie when I first watched it, because this was my second viewing. I first watched it maybe when I was in like junior year of high school. So it was like what, 3 years ago, something like that, or no, more than that, 4 years.
I would say more than that. Junior year. That must have been at least 4 or 5 years
Four.
ago. Yeah.
4 years, and so, yeah, like I was kind of thinking the first time I watched it, like, what's the point? Because it's an unsolved mystery. So it's like, will the movie have like a good conclusion? But they actually do a good job giving it a decent conclusion.
I agree with that.
Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't do our review of like what we thought, our rating.
Our ratings.
Yeah.
I would give this movie a 7.
7.
I give this movie a 7.
I'm meeting you at 7. I'm between 6 and 7 because it is slow.
It's funny. I will probably give this movie like a lot of like, you'll think it's like, wow, how is he not giving this a higher thing? The issue with the movie I have is the beginning of the movie is very everywhere, it feels like. Which, from what he's telling me, basically a lot of it's based on true things. So I would assume the reason it's everywhere is because it's so based in reality that they're trying to cover everything. And while the second half, I would assume again that a lot of that is probably based more on the book than the actual retelling of what people have said.
Yeah,
so it's probably able to focus a lot more on Jake Gyllenhaal because that's obviously who wrote the book.
Right.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal, but the person who wrote the book, and I don't know his name. What's his name?
Robert Graysmith.
Robert Graysmith?
Yeah.
Robert Graysmith.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But the issue is the first half of this movie before they do like a 4-year time jump. Before that, it feels very scattered.
Yeah.
And it feels very like unfocused.
Yeah, it's very piecewise because it's like that's the only thing that like took place like around the time of the killings and such. And Graysmith got like they all kind of get obsessed with finding out who the serial killer is. And that kind of that's pretty much what the last like I guess 2 hours of the movie are. It's just them being.
How long is this movie?
It's like 2 hours 40 minutes. It's a long ass movie.
It felt like this movie dragged on.
I know it has pacing issues like big time, but it's like cool if you actually want to learn more about the Zodiac killer because it is very faithful to like what it was actually like.
But yeah, I mean like it's not a bad movie. It's not like it's definitely not a bad movie. It's above an average.
For sure.
Excuse me. It's above an average. It's just that it's just so slow and it's so weird in the beginning that I just can't give it higher than like a 7.
Yeah.
It's good I actually really liked the second half of this movie.
The movie felt like a almost like a documentary.
Yes, as if they were trying to do a documentary, but then didn't.
Because like almost none of it is fictional. I think one of the only things that they took like creative liberty on changing about the story is actually making Paul Avery and Robert Graysmith work together because they never actually did.
Yes.
That's one thing I found out while I was like watching videos about it was that not even in the book.
Robert Downey Jr. is you're talking about, correct?
Paul Avery, yeah.
Okay.
That he plays Robert Downey Jr. plays Paul Avery, and the person who actually wrote the book was played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and they really don't work together in real life. But for the plot's sake, it's cool that they do.
To meet.
Yeah, it's true. They did. It would just be too disjointed if they actually did work.
It was
so
disjointed too.
Yeah, it was.
But I definitely probably came into this movie with too high of expectations.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. I think I've heard a lot of people say this movie is amazing.
It's a good like thriller, and it's got a lot of good mystery elements naturally because like the mystery was never solved really.
Well, of course, and so it's even more of a mystery of people trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah,
and they very clearly define who they think the killer is.
Yeah, and I like that too because otherwise there would just be kind of no conclusion.
It's an open-ended story.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, technically speaking, I guess no, it's definitely not an open-ended. They very clearly put this guy they think is the killer. Like this is the killer.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie.
Well, like Robert Graysmith actually did kind of go insane about it, like in real life.
Oh, you can tell even in the movie they portray it pretty well.
Yeah, he really kind of lost it, just like because Jake Gyllenhaal's character, he's an illustrator for like for the news. Yeah, he's a cartoonist for a newspaper.
The Chronicle.
The Chronicle, yeah, and they're trying to put out information about the Zodiac, but him being just like a really bright, like outcast kind of guy, just got like really sucked into trying to like be like a detective, which wasn't really his job. And there is a detective in the movie, Mark Ruffalo's character.
Mark Ruffalo is the detective. I like Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo does I think all the actors do an excellent job.
Yeah.
I think Mark Ruffalo and Jake Gyllenhaal, though, have standout performances. Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie.
But he just plays Robert Downey Jr. He just plays Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
he always
doesn't really do much, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And he's not in a lot of the show. The second half of the movie, he's basically in maybe one scene, and that's it.
Can we agree that like Robert Downey Jr. pretty much just plays himself in every single movie he's in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with this.
But it's like weird that it works so well every time.
He's so charismatic.
Yeah, I know. I would just love to meet him. I think he'd be a really awesome actor to meet.
Probably. I would assume he'd be a super fun guy to hang out with, too.
Yeah.
But, I want to talk about the next murder. So there's some other stuff that happens. They get the cipher. These two teachers, or this teacher from like Ohio or something, does the cipher and figures out what it says and all this. And the cartoonist and everyone else is like basically trying to figure it out, and then they figure it out. So we skip ahead a little bit to the next murder, which is the one by the lake.
Yeah.
That is a very gruesome murder.
Yeah, it is.
So he shows up, okay? They're basically just hanging out next to the lake. He shows up completely masked in his like whole Zodiac uniform.
Yeah.
He has a gun, and he's basically like, hey, tie
him up.
The wife ties up the man, and then Zodiac comes over, ties up the woman, and then fully ties up the guy.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's just going to be a robbery. Like, it's clearly set up to where it's like, he's just going to rob him.
Yeah, because he asked for his like keys and all of his money and stuff.
Then he comes over and stabs the woman about like so many times, and then he stabs the guy so many times. It's genuinely a very gruesome scene.
Yeah, it's like really chilling because like there's no music. It's just like
and there's not even a lot of blood either. Which, if anything, even makes it kind of scary because it almost feels like it's more realistic. It's
not like blood spurting everywhere, but it's gruesome because it's so real.
It's so real. Just like he's just stabbing the guy over and over again, and the guy is just screaming.
Yeah.
And so is obviously same with the woman. And obviously in this scene again, the guy survives, the woman doesn't.
Yeah. And then that also plays to the benefit of the movie because that's another like extremely real scene, like too real. It's like clothes are the exact same. The spot where they were laying, they actually did go to that exact same spot in real life to film it, but it looks a whole lot different now.
Oh, I'd assume.
Yeah, and so I had actually watched a video again about this killing and how accurate it was, and really interesting things about that is, like I said, the land had changed a lot. So, and he had hid behind an oak tree, and that was a very specific part of the killing, because apparently the way they were describing it was, in real life, she wasn't laying on top of the guy and seeing the killer. Or no, she was, but he had his eyes closed, right? And he was kind of like just like looking up at the sky. They were just chilling there, and she's like, "There's another person here," and he's like, "Well, it's a public park." And then she's like, "Well, he just went behind a tree," and he's like, "Oh, he's probably taking a leak." He was thinking she was talking about somebody on the other side of the pond in real life, but then he didn't realize that he was like right behind them, and then he kills him, right? Interesting thing about it, the trees in real life were not there anymore. They had like died, and they had chopped them down. So what they did to get those trees there was they actually uprooted oak trees that looked the same and flew them with a helicopter over to that part, and they fastened it in the floor with like nuts and bolts and shit.
Damn.
So that tree would be there, because there were like a few that he like hid behind while he was like sneaking up to him. And yeah. Oh, another really interesting thing I found was there were like really conflicting pieces of information about the Zodiac killer from all the different all the different people that were like victims of his.
Suspects.
Yeah.
Not suspects, victims.
All the victims had different like things about him. They actually had multiple, I think like 3 different actors play the Zodiac.
Oh, really?
When he was in the costume, so that it was like
very unknown of like there's no way you can kind of nail him down for a certain thing.
Because there's also a theory that the Zodiac killer was more than one person.
Which I would believe.
I could see that.
With the amount of killings that went on and the time frame, I wouldn't surprise me if people just said, "Oh yeah, that's the Zodiac killer," and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to prove.
And then then there's another killing where the car one.
This isn't a killing though.
Oh
no
yeah.
one dies.
Right.
It was a really, I think it's funny. So whenever I was writing this, so first of all, they kind of, oh wait, no, I'm thinking of a different killing.
You're thinking about
I'm thinking of the lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he killed that one random guy in the car.
So one thing I did think was interesting. Okay, so after this killing, the one we were just talking about, they then do like a little panorama over the city, and it's talking to people about the Zodiac. And one of the people was like, no one, all the people that have died so far are just country bumpkins, basically saying that, it's just people, hippies and people out there, anyone that lives in the city is fine, no one's going to get hurt. Then immediately after this, he kills a cab driver in a very nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this was actually the case, but it seemed to me that it was very clearly showing like, anyone can die. It's not just country people. It's not just these people. It's literally like if you're in a nice neighborhood, he will kill you as well.
This scene was a little bit darker because they wanted to film it like actually on the street where the killing happened, but they had to recreate it because they didn't want to film a murder scene on this random street in a nice neighborhood.
I guess fair enough.
So they actually recreated that set, but it's also super accurate. That one they don't have as much accurate information about in real life either, though, because he died.
Yeah, there's no actual, other than the children
at
the time, there's no, like, accurate reporting of it at the time.
Yeah.
And then you had the police officers that see the suspect and then just let him leave.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a very, very, like, broad description of him. He's tall and bulky. Like, that was it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what everybody kind of said about him. Well, actually, some people said that he was like on the slimmer side, which is why they had so many actors play the Zodiac in all the different scenes.
So after this, he sends another letter to the editor. He threatens to kill all the kiddies in the school.
He's like, I'm going to kill an entire bus full of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of just start locking down on education system as well. Dude, could you imagine being a kid at that time and like knowing about that? I wonder if that was like blasted on the news. It would have to be, right?
I would assume it was.
I'm sure
they
kids
kind of
just, like,
show
work
that
on
they
school.
didn't want to at first, but then they do end up doing it.
Yeah.
Imagine being a parent. Oh, I would hate to.
Hell nah, dude.
That sucks.
And then that's kind of when they introduced Mark Ruffalo's character, who's great in the movie. And then
you get a lot of police infighting, which I think was I think they showed it pretty well of why it was so hard to solve this case.
Yeah.
Because there was so much, I'm going to say infighting, just with them having jurisdiction, and then basically being like, if I have the documents, if you have documents, then we need to share the documents, or you're not getting my documents.
Yeah.
I won't send you mine if you don't send me yours.
Yeah.
And the issue is nowadays you can just email it, but then you had to like mail it over, and it was all in print and all of this, so it was so slow, and no one wanted to share anything. Especially, you can really tell by the end of the movie when Jake Gyllenhaal is going through all of the police, the other police department stuff, going through all their files and stuff like that. It's like Mark Ruffalo's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, why was I not told of this?
Yeah.
Because there was such a lack of communication, which I know was a big issue.
Like, a lot of the actual information they get are coming from the Zodiac killer himself, and so it's like, do you actually want to like trust this guy too? I feel like that's probably why this was never solved. This seems like a case that could have easily been solved.
If it was nowadays, I absolutely think it would be.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 100% because there is lack of sharing between the police departments, like lack of. I mean, obviously, you just didn't have DNA evidence either. Then there was also a lot of, like you said, where they're all. It's a lot of it is dependent on the Zodiac,
and you don't want to like trust his information necessarily. Like, there's like, doesn't he claim to have like killed like over 30 people or something like that?
I think so. He says he's claimed. No, I think it's 12.
Yeah, but they only know about like a few of them.
They only show like 6.
Yeah.
Or.
I think they show like 4 people dying.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. And like even in real life, people are kind of not sure that he actually killed like up to 12 people.
And they speculate a lot of how he claims to have killed people when they don't actually think he killed people.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very hard it's a very hard to tell case because it's like, how many people did he actually kill and how many? I mean, who knows? It's possible all of these murders none of them are connected. All of them are completely different people, and he's just claiming all of them, basically just to confuse the case.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate.
It's actually probably pretty likely. They even show at some point. Okay, so later on in the movie, he calls, he wants to call the reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he's calling the reporter, then basically an insane asylum patient calls in and is like, "Hey, he basically just is insane. He's like, I have terrible headaches and I have to kill people.
Yeah, ever since I killed those kids,
stuff like that." And then they figure out that it's actually not the Zodiac and it was an insane asylum institute
just
patient.
like wanting to claim it.
And then after that, they show how, and this makes it even more difficult, is the public going like constantly saying like, well, I'm the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think my friend's the Zodiac killer. Oh, well, I know something about the Zodiac killer.
Man, why the hell would they get involved in that, dude? That's so weird.
People are just stupid.
Yeah, for real. And then also, oh my gosh, the like similarities between the Zodiac killer in this movie depicted so accurately, and the Riddler in the new Batman, because it was very. I mean, like the new Batman movie, like the Riddler basically plays the exact same role as a Zodiac killer, and they took a lot of inspiration from the Zodiac killer. Like that was like one of the first things that came out about the movie, is that the Riddler was not going to be like some zany guy giving out riddles. It was going to be like very influenced by the Zodiac killer, and dude, he really is.
I never actually thought about it.
Yeah.
I could see it though, especially in that new movie. Very insane. He loves the ciphers. He loves like all of that stuff, and actually that does make sense. Doing like the phone calls to I don't remember if he did Batman or the police officers, but he phone called them a lot and kind of mocked them all the time. Yeah,
that's exactly what it was like. That's insane, dude. There was a real life serial killer like that. And like as far as like serial killer, like actual confirmed kill counts, it's not as much as like people like John Wayne Gacy and stuff like that, but it's because it was such a like mystery and so publicly broadcasted. They constantly broadcasted it on the news because he constantly wanted to be publicized and all that. That's why it's such a big deal. And then obviously the fact that no one knows who he is. But yeah, back to the movie. There's one scene that I really want to talk about, was the scene where he goes to the guy that had like the recordings. And
wait, hold on. Let's really quickly go over what happens up to. So basically, the cab driver gets killed. There's one more where basically he stops this lady on the side of the road, loosens her wheels, saying that he's going to tighten them. Then she gets out, goes in the car with him, says he's going to kill her, but not kill the baby and just throw the baby out the window. Then she jumps out of the car and gets the baby, and so then they're both fine.
That scene's horrifying, dude.
That scene was very creepy. Yeah. My girlfriend, she had to leave the room. She was so scared the baby was gonna get hurt.
I had a similar story to that. Yeah.
She was like, I'm not gonna, just text me whenever this scene's over.
Yeah. This is the first movie that we've watched separate from each other too.
All the other movies we've seen together, but this one we did not watch together.
Yeah.
We had conflicting schedules, so.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time we're talking about this movie together.
Yeah. Save the reactions and stuff.
But then there's the hold on, what happens? I think after that there's the time skip. There's the 4-year time skip. So this, in my opinion, this is where the movie really gets good. They stop focusing on everyone, and they focus just on
Robert Graysmith and Paul Avery, pretty much.
Yeah, they well, not Paul Avery at all.
Yeah, it's he reaches back out to him, but like Paul Avery like wants nothing to do with it. Yeah, at that point.
Basically they just are focused on Jake Gyllenhaal. That's it. Which is nice. They have Mark Ruffalo in it, and he's in it a little bit, but they clearly he's the main character.
They never meet either, do they? Who? Mark Ruffalo and Robert Graysmith.
Yeah, they meet. They talk a whole bunch.
Oh right, yeah, no,
I'm confusing the meetings.
I'm confusing the Paul Avery character and the Mark Ruffalo character. Yeah.
But yeah, they're kind of having like secret meetings and stuff like that. But
because they're both like totally obsessed with it at this point.
Yes, he is completely obsessed with him. Like Jake Gyllenhaal's completely obsessed with him.
Yeah.
While Mark Ruffalo is kind of losing interest, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, very much wants to know who he is.
Yeah.
His partner leaves him because he's been on the case for 4 years at this point. They have no leads, and it's just kind of like, I don't know what to do now. Then what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal is trying to find leads, but he just doesn't know where to go, and all this. What happens after this?
They start. This is kind of where they start getting into like the suspects and stuff. Well,
Yeah.
they get another letter, don't they?
Oh, I forgot about they. This is actually the first time we meet the person that they. So there's technically no one's ever been,
Convicted or
convicted of it.
Yeah.
But they very heavily imply that this person, which I'm forgetting his name.
I can't remember his name either, but he's like the guy that works in like a factory.
Hold on, I might have written it down. I should have probably written it down. He worked as a school bus driver.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not.
That's all right.
That's okay. But they actually meet. This is before the time jump. I forgot about this. They go and meet him. It's a very kind of like weird, creepy scene, to be honest, because in this scene they're talking to him and he's very calm the entire time.
And so is the Zodiac whenever they call things in. So the voice is kind of like a match, or at least the cadence of it.
And then he like crosses his legs. He has the Zodiac watch, which is kind of like a very similar thing to him, which obviously they realize is like that's where he got the logo and the name from. It's the Zodiac company. It's kind of a creepy scene. But then I skipped a whole bunch of stuff. This isn't a time skip yet. Then they finally get a warrant because they really think it's this guy. And then his hand or his writing doesn't match.
Yeah.
And his fingerprints don't match on the only fingerprint that they have, and all of this.
That's what I was going to talk about with that one scene with the guy that had the videotapes or whatever it was. They had like the tapes, and they were going to talk to that one guy, and then he was like showing him something that the Zodiac had. It was
this
like some
scene
Zodiac.
Was creepy.
Yeah, this scene was freaky.
I like wrote that. I was like, this scene is creepy as
like
hell.
Super chilling. They like show him like some literature that the Zodiac had sent in, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's not the editor's handwriting. That's my handwriting." And he's saying it super calmly as well. Everybody that's a suspect is like way too like calm and like just off-putting.
They did a spectacular job on this.
And
scene.
then, bro, he's like, "You can come into my basement, and I'll show you." He's like, "Why don't we take this to my basement?" And then Jake Gyllenhaal's character is like, "Not a lot of people in LA have a basement." He's like, "Yeah, but I do." And it was like, "Oh shit, this guy's you got to get out of there." I feel like anybody in that situation though would also go into the basement.
I wouldn't.
I think you'd have to.
I wouldn't have gone to the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not Robert Graysmith, but still, like, if you took yourself that far, and this guy's like, I'm gonna show you some stuff in my basement.
I am chasing a murderer.
Yeah.
Why would I go to someone's house?
I don't know, like the call of the void,
I guess he doesn't think he's the murderer at this point, so fair enough, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so sketchy. As soon as he said, "Yeah, let's go to your house," I was like, "No, why would you do that?" Stupidest thing you could have done.
Yeah.
But very creepy scene. Like he's like they walk downstairs. It's like like he said, like they're basically comparing the poster, and they think that it's this person named Rick Marshall, and that's who they think the Zodiac is, or who he thinks the Zodiac is at this point. Basically, completely based on the fact that the posters match, and because some random guy was calling in and saying that. Now, in saying that, they do this. They he tells them that he goes to the place. Then he's like, "Oh, well, he didn't write the posters. I wrote the posters."
Yeah.
And then he figures out that he also has a basement. And they go down to the basement, and they're just talking to each other. And it's such a creepy scene. Then he like starts seeing dust coming from upstairs because it sounds like someone's upstairs, just like walking up there. And it's like, is there a second person here? And like all this, then like he can't get out, and the guy has to unlock the door for him, and like, and the music is so chilling.
Yeah,
I think this is the best scene in the movie.
Probably, it's definitely the most like vulnerable. And then, I guess we're
getting short on time.
Yeah, they end up kind of, who was it? They interviewed the guy from the first killing, like the car one. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a few car ones, but the very first one. Also, killing. By the way, the very first scene takes place on the 4th of July, which is really fitting. I forgot about that. We had planned to watch this before the 4th of July, and we both watched it on the 5th of July. Yeah. Or the 6th.
So, actually kind of works.
Yeah. Pretty neat. But then, he's like, okay, it's this guy, and it was like one of their suspects, and he had already died. So, that kind of, they kind of heavily imply that, at least the director and the person, Robert Graysmith, definitely thought it was the guy who had already died.
Mhm.
God, I wish I could remember his name.
I
But-
keep wanting to call him Bob Vaughn, but that's a different character.
And that's pretty much where it ends.
Yeah, it ends with the guy from the first murder basically saying, "Hey, this is the guy. I remember him. I'm like I'm almost like I'm 80% sure that this is the guy." Then they were going to convict him. They're going to be like, "Hey, you're going on murder trial," and he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
So they never were able to. And so, but in saying that, in the little like ending scroll, they did say that they did do DNA match, and it was not a match to him.
Yeah.
But it's also very old DNA, and it's possible it just wasn't.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, the unsolved mystery after watching this movie remains unsolved.
Yeah, but it was kind of solved if you
Yeah.
take what the movie says.
Yeah. True.
But it is unsolved.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good movie. It's just slow.
It's slow. It's very, I don't know, like 7.
The first
Honestly,
like
I
hour.
might even dip to a 6.5.
The first like hour might as well be a documentary. After that, it becomes like a little bit more of a drama thriller, but it's still, I don't know. It's like a movie it's a good movie if you're into like documentaries and stuff.
It's a good movie if you're into whodunits and like true crime stuff.
Yeah, like history stuff, like historical.
Yeah.
Not even really historical fiction.
Just like true crime. If you
Yeah.
really like true
Yeah.
crime and mysteries, then yeah, you would like this movie. If you don't, then it's definitely. I wouldn't say this is a must-watch.
Actually, a lot of people disagree with that. The Rotten Tomatoes rating on this movie is a 90.
That's just too high.
I think so too.
I think that's way too high. I don't think this is a must-watch.
Like I think it's pretty normal to like leave that movie and be shocked by it, but then to give it like a 9 out of 10, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. I don't think the characters are strong enough.
Yeah.
I don't think the plot is good enough. I don't know. Maybe it's just because this is a real story and so. No,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. I think it's just not.
It's hard making something so non-fictional like entertaining like that, and that's just what the movie suffers from. But and so for that reason, I don't think it's like the most amazing movie in the world, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I absolutely don't think it's a bad movie, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's as hyped up as it is. I
Yeah,
don't
it is
think
pretty
it's-
hyped.
I don't think it's probably is warranted.
But yeah, that was Zodiac.
Yeah, that'll be the cinematics. That was all Zodiac.
Yep.
I'm Casey.
Connor.
And go watch the news.